Guys, so let's talk about this Denver Broncos decision that's rocking the NFL world today, and that is the Denver Broncos benching Russell Wilson. Denver this year has had, several terrible losses, starting with the Raiders in Week 1, and then adding up to it to a really brutal loss this week against the Patriots and Bailey Zappi, in which they were down the entire game. And there's a misconception out there about Russell Wilson and how great, or lack thereof, he's been this year. And when you look at Russell Wilson, this season, he's averaging 185 passing yards a game. The Denver Broncos offense is also ranked towards the bottom fifth of the league. They only have 295 yards of total offense. So this offense has been anemic this year. I know that Russell Wilson has thrown 26 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions, and I believe that the touchdown to turnover ratio is one of the biggest it's one of the most overrated and useless stats, in my opinion. I prefer to look at, how many points the team is scoring, total yards thrown in a game. That's kind of what I tend to look at. And I guess you could say, that's garbage time stats late in games. But, average attempt per pass, like average yard attempt in the air per pass, can be a pretty good statistic. But I usually look at how many yards a game you're throwing for, because you could throw for 325 yards in a game, and you could throw for that, and you can, just hand the ball off on the goal line, and your running back can go get 4 touchdowns, and you can have a really efficient game, and your team could score like 34 points, and you could throw no touchdowns, and then you can have a Hail Mary and have an interception. So, it's all about like how costly are the turnovers? Is your team winning? How many yards are you throwing for each game? And Denver this year on offense has just been really, really rocky. And Russell Wilson, playing in a Sean Payton offense, he's only thrown for 3,000 yards in the entire season. That's one of the worst statistics in the National Football League, and it's not like he's getting it done on the ground either, Russell Wilson. All right, so Russell Wilson now is 35 years old, older quarterback, 5'11", had like a little bit of a bounce back year in terms of not being terrible with interceptions or not being completely anemic, but the offense still was not very good. So it wasn't elite by any means. And Denver right now, I don't believe that Russ is really the guy for the future. I mean, he had Sean Payton, Nathaniel Hackett. You see kind of why he was traded away. And just really sloppy games lately. I mean, the last 2 weeks, they lost 42-17 on the road at Detroit, in a place where Jordan Love went in and lit up the Lions, in a place where even, the Chicago Bears had their time of lighting up that Lions defense, and even Nick Mullins threw for 400 yards against the Detroit Lions in that secondary. All right, and then against the Patriots, they had every opportunity to come back in that game, and credit Russ for timely plays. But unfortunately for the Broncos right now, they're kind of on the edge of the playoff race. They're going to save a ton of money by cutting Russell Wilson, and now you get to see, can 28-year-old Jarrett Stidham, can he be the guy that comes in, and can he play quarterback and play it at a higher level? Think he has a stronger arm than Wilson. Think he can be, he's not going to be as mobile, but he's taller than Russ and has a stronger arm, and you could create those chunk plays now with Jarrett Stidham. So I don't care about touchdown to interception ratio. This offense this year has not even garnered over 297 yards a game. That is really, really anemic. That is not a strong offensive performance. So, you look at Denver, and I really think that this is the right move. They're going to be able to then see what Jarrett Stidham's going to do the final 2 games, and then they're probably going to draft in a quarterback to have competition out there with a Jarrett Stidham. But, Davis Webb is a guy that's, he worked with Stidham. They're both Texas guys. And I think that this offense can get going a little bit. I do. I think that the offense can. I think that the offense in Denver can get there. So we're going to have to see again how this transpires, but I'm excited to see, with Sean Payton, what he's going to do now with Jarrett Stidham. I think that's going to be a 4:00 game, and we're going to see how Jarrett does in his first start. I mean, last year against the 49ers, he lit it up. He had a great battle with Brock Purdy for a lot of that game, and then towards the end of the season, maybe struggled on his way out of Raiderland. So we're going to have to see what happens. But Jarrett Stidham's going to be starting, and I think it's the right decision based on the numbers, based on how the seasons went. I mean, the defense has had to play above its head for Denver to even have an opportunity to win these games. I mean, the Broncos got like 4 turnovers, and they needed a game-winning walk-off miracle field goal to even win that game against Buffalo, even with the defense getting all those turnovers. So the defense has made a lot of strides from that Miami game. People think that Miami game is emblematic of the entire season, when Vance Joseph has really changed the entire complexity of that defense. So I think that starting Stidham's the right answer, and then Sean Payton is going to have a decision then. I guess he sees Stidham all the time in practice, and credit to him for making a bold move, because this is a bold move, and it also shows you the Broncos are open for business with quarterback. So that's just the way it is. Players get older, players don't produce, and Russ isn't producing at that level. And in an AFC that's a very gettable AFC, with a decent defense, the Broncos are no longer close to dancing. So we'll see if they win their last 2 games or not. I think Stidham has some potential in this league, and I really don't mind the decision. I see a lot of Broncos fans minding it because of touchdown and interception ratio. I don't mind it whatsoever.